Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. From today actually we will learn PHP. So I will actually start with PHP login form. So how you can actually create a PHP login form. Okay, so for this actually you have to install XAMPP in your PC. Here you can see I have installed XAMPP. So if you don't know how to install XAMPP, it's very simple. You have to just go to the browser, let's say any browser, and then you have to search for XAMPP, and you just need to download the latest version. If you are from Mac, so you can see we have you have different option. Okay, here you can see for Mac user you have the latest version. So actually I always like to work with not the latest version. uh, I mean I just love to work with stable version. Okay, so you can choose any of two. Okay, 8.0 or 8.1. So you can download it if your PC is basically from nowadays every PC is actually 64-bit, so you don't need to check it, you just have to download it. Okay, and then you just have to install it, so it will actually open, and you have to start this Apache and MySQL both. For why MySQL basically for the database purpose. Okay, but when you actually start to learn PHP, that time actually you don't need to stop start it MySQL, because MySQL basically need for the database. So uh, if you don't start it, no problem, you just have to start Apache, because Apache is our local host server. Okay, so without this we cannot access PHP language. Okay, because PHP is scripting language, right? So here if I go to the, I have actually downloaded in the C drive. So if I go to the C drive, you can see I have the XAMPP installed in my C drive. So here we just have to go to the htdocs folder. So inside htdocs you just have to create folder. So you have a lot of things here, and I actually delete all of them. I just have to project. One is for the library management system, and this is for my another channel. And actually I worked in other channel, so that time actually I have to make videos for them. So the libraries for web tech knowledge, and then we have so this is the actually folder I am going to show you. So this is the PHP tutorial folder. So you have to create folder like this, and let's say I want to start open it on Visual Studio Code. Okay, so if you want to access this, you just have to go to the browser. So let me just go to the browser, and if I say here localhost, let me just say here localhost slash, and the project, right? Project name is what? Project name is PHP tutorial, maybe. Yes, PHP tutorial. So PHP tutorial. If I enter here, you can see we have nothing, right? If I go inside the directory, you can see there is nothing. So actually I need to open the file. So I have to go here in the C drive, in the XAMPP, and then htdocs. So I just need to drag it like this for the Visual Studio Code. That's it. Okay, so okay, and we have the file here, and let's say I want to say here login dot php. So every single time if you want to write, create any PHP file, you have to use the extension dot php. Okay, so my file name is login dot php. If I enter here, you can see, if I remove it, if I refresh, you can see there is a file login dot php. Now actually we can access it. So without localhost you cannot access it. So let's say I want to create a login form. So I can write here HTML. Okay, or in the Visual Studio Code, if you press exclamation sign and then tab, it will actually create basic structure for you. So let's say I want to create a login form. So I will say here form, and then action. So action would be where the file where the form will actually go, form values. So let's say inside a form we have multiple values for the input, for the email text input, for the email input, for the password, right? So if I write here, let's say input, so here you can see type is text. If I save it and if I refresh here, you can see we have a input field. So let's say it has some value. So if somebody, let's say I have a button, so I will say here input submit button, and if I refresh here, you can see there is a submit query. Okay, so if somebody click here, then where it will actually go? Here you can see question mark, where it will actually go. So we have to give the destination, so that is called action. So I actually want to redirect to the same page, so login.php. Now if I click here, I mean submit query, you can see it will actually go to the same page. Okay, login.php. So here input type submit, and I want to actually say that value value should be let's say I want to say that log refresh. Okay, now our button name is login, right? Okay, so I'm saying that okay, you have to go to the same page, login.php, and then I have one more parameter here that is called method, and method is let's say which method. So we have post or get, so either you have to use get or the post. Okay, so I mean when you should use get, when you should use post. So post for the actually soft information. Let's say you have bank information, login password, your email ID, password, okay, everything. So soft, for the soft information you have to use post. For the let's say if you want to pass any value in the URL, let's say any ID or something that is not I mean that cannot be changed by any user, I mean anyone who will actually come through this URL, that time you can use get. So soft, for soft information you have to use post, for any other information you can use get. Okay, to track the user, to track any value, okay, then you can use get. So let me discuss all of them step by step, so that you can understand well. So so let's say I want to say here text, and I want to set the name. Okay, the name will be, let's say, so type is text and the name. Okay, the name, let's say I want to set the name for this text field as let's say number, and I want to set a placeholder here, placeholder, and I want to set that enter any number, any. So if I refresh, now you can see enter any number. So let's say it's a number. So if I type here 12 and if I click here login, then here you can see we just have to set here, let's say first get. Okay, we just have to set here get. Okay, and let's say I want to go back, so login.php. okay, it's saying that enter any number, let's say 12. So login, and if I go to the URL, here you can see number is 12, it's showing the number is 12. Okay, because it is get method. But let's say I have changed it to post. Let me just change it to post, and then what will happen, let's see. Let's say I want to remove this. Okay, so now I will type any number, let's say 13. If I click on login, here you can see it actually redirected to the same page, I mean login.php, but there is no value inside the URL. Okay, so this is the main difference between post and get. You actually if you need to pass any data through URL, you have to use get. Okay, that's it. And now let's say, okay, now actually I want to use get method here, so that I can show you the problem when you actually use get. So let's say it will actually go to the login.php, I mean same page. So I have to go to the top of the page, and if you want to access any PHP file, or if you want to write any PHP file, you have to start with PHP syntax. So how can you do this? Like this, question mark PHP. Okay, like this. And then now actually I want to say that if is set, it's a function where actually I'm going to check that if is set, dollar underscore the method, global variable. So the method is, if I go here, you can see get. So the global variable for the get method is dollar underscore get. So I will say if is set dollar underscore get submitted, okay, because okay, I have to set here a name for the button. Without name I cannot actually access the button. So I have to set here a name, and let's say name it submit. So you have to keep the same name here, okay. So I've said here that if is set dollar underscore get, because method is get, so I'll say that get submit. Then actually we will say that okay, actually want to store the value. So in PHP actually we need to access, I mean we need to create a variable with dollar sign, okay. So any variable actually start with dollar sign. So let's say I want to say here number, and I want to accept the value from the field. So because the field value will actually redirect to the same page, so I have to accept it. Without accept it I cannot actually show it inside the page. So dollar number equal to dollar underscore the global variable get, because the method is get. So if the method is post, we just have to say here post, okay. So now our method is get, right? So I have to say here get, and then I have to pass the field value. So the field, if I go to the field name here, you can see the field name is number, okay. Copy it and go here and paste it here. Here you can see we have a same number here, right? You can actually change it, but you cannot change here because it is actually the global variable. So here actually we have to give the proper field name. Without giving the proper field name, actually we are not getting any value. So here you can change any name, let's say num, okay. So this is a local variable, you can change it, okay. So let me just say here number, no problem, you can change it to any name. So let's say I want to print the value in the website. So how can you print it? So you have to use echo. So when you say echo, you actually can print it. So the there is two way to actually print anything in the PHP. There is, if you want to print any value inside the curly braces, you have to inside the double quotation you have to use curly braces and the dollar variable name, okay. If I refresh, let's say I want to go here and I want to say that okay 12 login, and here you can see the number is 12, okay. And if you want to say let's say you can actually, let's say I want to say here the number is okay. So you can write it like this, dollar number and number. If I say here 13, if I log in here, you can see the number is 13. And you can do it another way. You just need to remove it from here, okay, and you just have to add a dot, because in PHP dot means actually concatenation. So dot will actually concatenate two or more values. So I will actually say here dollar the variable name number, and now let's say if I say here 14 login, here you can see number is 14, okay. If I zoom in here, you can see. So now let's say I want to actually create a login form, right? So let's go, and I want to create a login form. So I will say here okay, and let me just copy it multiple times, copy it, paste, paste. So the first one is, let's say login form, right? So I need actually two field, not more than two fields. So I will say here enter your password, so this is basically dummy text, right? So for the dummy text you have to use placeholder. So enter your password, and if I go back, I just have to say here password for the password field. Yes, name is password, and I have to give a name, because without giving the name actually I cannot access the field value from the PHP script, okay. And here I just have to say password, type is password, okay. And first one is, let's say email, type should be email, and let's say I want to change the name to email, and I want to actually remove the placeholder to actually I will say enter your email. If I refresh, okay, actually I have to just remove this. Okay, and here you can see we have two field value, I mean two field here, one is for the email, one is for the password. If I type in anything, and here you can see it's act like password, right? And we have login button. So I actually want to say here that actually I want to add break here so that the login actually go to the next line. Okay, and I want to say here break. If I refresh, okay, now it's in the new line, and okay, I can set here a class for the submit button. I can set here a class for the submit button. I will say that okay, submit button, or I can say here button. So this is the button class, and I'll go to the head section here. Under the title I will say style, and here actually I want to access the class, so class name is button, right? So I want to say here that button with 100%. Refresh. Okay, it's taking the whole width of page, so I will say here, let's say okay, and let's say 50%. Okay, so and let's say want to say here the form. Okay, so I'll say here form, the form let's say with I don't need width, I want to actually add margin top, I will say 20 pixel. Fresh. And now I want to get gap in between the input fields, so I have to say here input field, and I want to set margin, because for the outside gap we need to use margin, so I will say margin top. Actually I don't need left, right and bottom, so I just have to say here top, margin top 20 pixel, let's say. And if I refresh, okay, so here you can see now this is the login form. So and actually I want to change the button color, so I will say here background color green. Okay, if I refresh, okay, and actually I don't want border, so I will say here border none, will say background, or I can say box shadow, let's say box shadow. I will say here 0 0, and let's say 5 pixel. If I refresh, okay, now login button is far better than previous. So we have email, we have password. Let's say I have to type here, let's say yamin@gmail.com, and I have to give a password here. Okay, I actually want to say here Milan, or I can say here data visionary @gmail.com, and I want to say 123 is the password. So it will actually redirect to the same page when I press log in, right? Okay, so I have to accept those values, so I will go to the PHP script here, and the problem is when I actually submit with password, if I log in, you can see that okay, actually it's saying that undefined variable, because we have declared the undefined variable here, and let me just remove it, no problem. Okay, and refresh. Okay, the problem is, you can see if I go to the URL here, you can see password is 123 showing. So for the soft information we cannot actually use get, so we have to change the method also. So we have to change here method, and the method is post, and now we have to change all the super global variables also, and here I just have to say okay, and here I just have to say $_ post, And now I want to set all the variables. I will say email equal to $_post email, and then we have $password equal to $_post password. So here you can see I have made a mistake here. Okay, so we have to just go to the field and we have to take the name from the field. So this is the name, so we have to copy it. We cannot actually change the super global variable name because this is the field name. Actually it will actually check the field name if it exists or not, so it will actually store the value from the field. So this is how you can actually take value. So let's say now actually I want to remove it, and let's say now I will say that data at visionary. Okay, and then I want to say here 1 2 3. Now if I click on login, here you can see in the, if I go to the address bar, okay, here you can see there is nothing, there is no password. Okay, so now actually I can echo the password. So the let's say I want to echo the password and email. So I will say here email is dollar email, right? Okay. And actually I want to say here, and password is, I want to say here $password. And now let's say I want to say here milon@gmail.com and password is 1 2 3. If I log in, and here you can see the email is milon@gmail.com and password is 1 2 3. Okay, and so the if I use here get, let's say, then there will be a problem. Okay, there will be problem here. Let's say get, and here I have to say here $_get $get. Okay, and the problem is if I now say that Milon and the password is 1 2 3 login. Wait, let me just check here. milon@gmail.com and password is 1 2 3. Let's say if I log in here, you can see that the password is 1 2 3, but the problem is when you will actually use get method, you can see my password is showing here. Let's say my password was 1 2 3, and if I change it here 1 2 4, if I enter, you can see here we have changed the password. So actually you shouldn't use get method for the soft information. So so that if you use a get method for this kind of soft information, I mean, you will actually, you can see that, okay, there is a big problem. Actually everyone can know your password, and you can everyone can actually change the password, right? Okay, so for the soft information and password related things, bank information related things, you have to use method post. So for the login form, actually always we have to use post. Okay, and here we have to change also super global post. Here also super global post. Here also super global post. So these are super global variable, and let's say I want to actually go back here, and here I want to say that milon@gmail.com and the password is 245 login, and it's showing me the password. Okay, and let's say somebody click on login, so there is taking in what can I say, null values also, right? So if you want to prevent this, or what can I say, if you want to stop this, you just have to use here one more word that is called required, required. Required. So required basically forcefully actually will say that you have to input the value. Without giving the value, you cannot actually go to the next line. Here you can see, if I go here, if I click here login, it's always showing me that actually required. Okay, let's say I want to say here Milan, but if I log in here, you can see it's showing me the message that please fill out this field. So you have to give the value. Without this you cannot actually go to the you cannot actually submit your form. So here password is 369, let's say, login, and now actually you can access the button. So here you can see the email is at milon@gmail.com and password is 369. So I hope you understand. So this is login form. So thanks so much. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video with new tutorial. Till then, goodbye.